No marches, no protests. Here it was a scene of jubilation. Scenes like this played out in neighborhoods across the city as soon as the major network called the race for Joe Biden after he won Pennsylvania, then Nevada. Many Chicagoans started celebrating. People ran out of their homes, poured into the streets. They honked horns, danced, popped champagne. We saw people pumping their fists into the air, waving American flags, Biden and Harris flags also. Outside Wrigley Field, Biden supporters flew the Cubs' W flag. The former vice president won 82% of the Chicago vote.
I wanted to know if there is a capacity limit, and what is that limit, if there is one, and why can't we close the borders of Chicago or the state of Illinois in the first place? Why can't we close the borders?
I don't know if there's a limit. I do know that when you are seeking asylum, you are granted protections from the U.S. to not return. So that is the process that folks are going through when they come here, when they get their interview, and then the Texas governor sends them to Illinois, and specifically Chicago.
So they get to come, once they do an interview in Texas, they get to come regardless. Texas says you're an asylum seeker, you're being persecuted, so yeah, you can leave your country and come here and go wherever you want.
Not Texas. The federal government is the one that does the process around asylum seeking. It is Texas who is making the decision to send them to Chicago.
And that's what I wanted to know. Can we say, no, we won't take anymore?
It has to come from the federal government.
And Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson has announced that the city is facing a more than $500 million budget deficit for 2024. Now, $200 million of that his office attributes to the growing cost of caring for migrants.
For months, NBC5 Investigates has been asking city agencies for copies of financial records to better understand where the money has flowed to care for migrants. While the city continues to withhold many of the records we've requested, we did obtain contracts and a spreadsheet showing since October the city has spent at least $83 million on this crisis. The bulk of that money, more than $56 million, went to Favorite Staffing, a Kansas-based company whose employees work at the shelters. In response to our requests, the city has so far provided just 2 invoices showing how much Favorite staffers are being paid. This invoice from the now-closed shelter at Truman College shows a facility manager made $14,000 in 1 week. At this High Ridge YMCA shelter, an invoice shows a nurse earned more than $20,000 for a week's worth of work. That same week, the shelter's manager's invoice billed for more than $14,000.